I did my thinking and I already implemented a little bit of a code change. Essentially, what I went through and I eliminated the places where I was setting whether the lighting is required, and I'm going to manage that only through the no camera scene state. And the idea is that if I'm in the no camera scene state, then the lighting will typically not be required. And to exit this state, the lighting will be required and you'll need to be in the ready state. So if any of my exit conditions are valued a true, like going to the big camera or showing the small camera, in order to exit into that transition, I have to have lighting in the ready state. So this will be my condition for setting that value. And now that I've done that, I've removed the other places. The only places I'm setting that value is here. So when I go into any other state, even the temporary state, I'm not modifying what the lighting is required. It'll only get modified when I bounce back into no camera state. So if I bounce back here, it'll set it to false. And then otherwise my logic is the same on the timer. I just commented out this part, and I in fact got rid of this property on the scene state. So if my desired lighting state is different, then I update it and then I debounce it. So I think this is going to work. Let me give it a try. Build error. Yeah. I have my reference. So this part of the logic should not actually be hit anymore because I'm evaluating it beforehand. So I'll put a breakpoint there. All right, and I'll talk a little bit and trigger the sound trap, so it'll flip over and require the small camera. All right, we got that. We got small camera. So I did turn the lighting on properly. And it should go away and come back, go away and come back. And when I stop talking, or I'll leave it alone, let it go up to big camera. Big camera should come up now. Yep. Wiggle the mouse. And it goes back to small camera. Go down there, go out, go in there, go out. Okay, suggested camera is none. I stopped talking for long enough. All right, I turned the light off. Now we're talking again after the minimum delay. We should get the small camera to kick back in. All right, here it comes. There it is. And we'll keep talking and moving the mouse in and out so that I can track whether that's working properly. Okay. Now I'll stop talking and it should turn the camera off. Perfect. Now I'll start talking again and I should get lighting required to tick on first. Yep. And then I got my small camera. Nice. Go ahead and add another property here. Let me flip it to the main camera. Ah. My phone's blowing up. What's going on? My grandmother's learning how to text message. That's what's happening. Okay, probably can ignore it. Basically, I want to see this value. I want to see this value in the user interface. That's what I was doing that for. Remaining time until next lighting. Tunloka. Whatever. Remaining time until like sliding change. So I want to see that number ticking the next, I'll just mod it. Where's the left camera? There it is. I just put in this, I had the monitor on the wrong camera. The camera on the wrong monitor, but the, let's put this value showing on my very bottom of my desired state change. So this is important because that's what's keeping an extra level of sanity on top of the camera switches. So I want to see that number tick down so that I can make sense out of whether it's doing the changes appropriately. So once I trigger a state transition, yeah, see that number's ticking down pretty fast. So I should be able to set my state updates to be a little bit slower. Probably don't need it to be every 40 times a second. Probably 5 times a second is plenty. That's going to add a little bit of delay to my monitor switching, but like not that much. It still is capable of switching the monitors pretty frequently. But once it turns off the light, I'm going to stop talking for a second. This number should start back from, what do I got it set at? 8 seconds. So it should start ticking down from 8 seconds. Yeah, there it is. So no matter what, as long as I'm talking here, okay, interesting. So that was my method of debouncing so that it didn't actually turn off the lights until the request comes in, and then once they actually are off, it's triggering that number to be reset. So it goes down, it's ticking down to 0. That's like the turn off the light delay. And now it's back off. Okay, so I started talking again. So it's delaying the light turning off. So if I talk long enough, I should get a camera to pop up. Yeah. I've got the minimum camera off time. Those two numbers just happen to be the same right now. If I do that, it should always turn the camera off. Yeah, I might want to have, I put this value out, and I might want to actually bump that. Do the, to have a lighting off delay. Because that 8 seconds is kind of a long time. And light off delay. Well, essentially, I don't want to do this. I want to set the I essentially want to trigger a delay here. Whatever, I can do it. All right, I'm not in debug. I'm going to see if that's the right logic though. All right, I'm going to talk enough to trigger the camera to come on, and it should give me the lights. All right, we got lights ticking down. Yeah, this is really dumb. I'm going to do this a different way. Start after. Oh, let me put it on the right monitor. Sorry, guys. There we go. Actually, no, I'm going to do the come on. Lighting version is equal to version. Well, this won't work either. I need to have like 3 states. So lighting required, the desired, and then the target. It's not changing the lighting. I could put this all in the no camera state. So let me put this back here. So what I can do here is I can change it to where if lighting isn't required, and the scene state started this is brilliant. Okay, there we go. So if we've been in the state long enough, then we'll go ahead and set it to false. All that nastiness can go away. All right, so now when the no camera state sets the lighting to required as false, it's going to be checking to see how long it's been in that state, and if it's greater than the lights off delay, then I'm allowed to turn them off. And then it will also be putting that as a barrier against the remaining time until the next lighting change. And that looks good. And if I wanted to, I could put the delay to turn the lights on as well. Could put it in that exact same spot of the code. All right, let's see if it works. We'll put the breakpoint here, and we'll see when we get a camera. All right. All right, lighting's not required. Come on, data tip text. Good grief. Good job, Visual Studio. Okay, I'm going to put a breakpoint on that other chunk. All right, so I'll talk for a little bit. I should get the lighting to come on in just a second. Perfect. So true, false. This is false. We've got our age. That's 6 seconds. Now we can set it to false. Light went off. Bam. Nice. What we'll see here is this number will be ticking down. Let me bump that back up. So this number is ticking down. And it stayed at 0 there because there wasn't actually a lighting change. And that's the way it should be. That was interesting. It bounced up and had the lights blink on. But I didn't really see any cause for it. Okay, I guess it's not that big of a boundary to get this number up, even though it's a sample period of 9 seconds. Because when I'm talking, this number's hitting up closer to, well, it's limited at 10, but the volume from when I'm talking is pretty substantial, so I can bump that up pretty quick, I guess. Oh, wrong view. Manually switch this over to the left monitor. I've got my suggested, my desired camera state. All right, I'm starting it without debug. Whoop. I didn't want to see the whole thing. Ah. I don't need this anymore. Alrighty. I'll see in the UI which one is currently controlling. Scene states no camera. I'm going to bump this back up. All right, that should be more than enough. What's the heck's making that so wide? I set the width on something. Yeah, that's so strange. Like something wants to be really wide. I just added that. Let me turn that off and see. Max width. I don't know, what's a good number? Just tweaking this so it is not so annoying to look at. Alright, I'll put it over there and start talking for a little bit. We get the camera to come on. Yeah, I said transitioning to small camera, that's cool. Now transitioning no camera, nice. So if I keep talking, it should come right back into the camera. Oh no, it turned off the lighting. That's interesting. Oh, that's because the minimum time off is greater. So now I've got hide small camera, transitioning small camera, hide small camera, transitioning small camera. Nice. Yeah, this option right here for minimum off time, it's because that's currently the same there. So if I set this to a lower number, I can now start talking again, and I should get the camera to come back on. Nope. Waited too long. All right, this is a test. I'm going to see if I can get the camera come back on before the lights go off. And I'll just talk right now until this number ticks down to 0. And then I'll talk again real quick, and I'll see if I can get the camera to come back on. Okay, cool. Yeah, so as long as this number is small enough, but I don't necessarily want it to do that. I just wanted to see why that was happening. So it is allowed to turn the lights off, yep. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here. I'm gonna run in release mode. And I'll see what I can get my CPU down to when it's in release mode. I'm watching to see how low this number is going to end up going. And now it's down at like 0.02%, 0.19%, 0.16%, 0.15%, 0.14%, 0.15%. Not bad. Do what? Oh, this was my old one. I left him running in debug. Yeah, I forgot he was still on. The idea was when I was working on this, I'd be able to turn him back on while I was between runs so that something was still running the camera. Let's see if I've got the right one picked. Yeah, I do. I was using 10 megs less memory. That's interesting. Let me set that up and see if that affects the CPU usage much. Yeah, it's hovering pretty consistently right now. But I don't think that this here really affected it too much. Yeah, I like seeing that it's well below 1%. Alrighty. So about the only other thing I wanted to do, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and then start recording again because I might put this as a different segment.